The reason why her body has been found is so she can return to get justice for herself. And this is the first piece of the puzzle that's going to allow for law enforcement to do their job and bring.
Dental records helped to identify a woman whose body was found in the Sam Houston National Forest. And though police have identified a suspect in her death, that man is not in custody. ABC 13's Tom Abrams joins us with reaction from the woman's father, Tom.
Eric, Felicia Johnson had come to Houston looking for work just after she turned 24 years old. Then she disappeared. Now, some 10 months later, authorities confirmed they found her remains. Felicia Johnson disappeared in mid-April after looking for work at an adult nightclub in Northwest Houston.
How to be a serial killer. How to kill without getting caught. What does bleach do to blood? These weren't random internet searches. These were questions typed into a phone by a 28-year-old man named Chukwuebuka Nwobodo. And they weren't just questions. They were a plan. April 16th, 2022. A 24-year-old woman named Felicia Johnson posted one escort ad online. Just one. 2 hours later, she was in his apartment. By morning, she was dead. Her blood-covered phone was found thrown on the side of a road. Her body was cut apart and hidden in a forest. And the man who murdered her? He walked free after police questioned him. Today, right now, as you're watching this, Chukwuebuka Nwobodo is still out there. Still free, still dangerous. And investigators believe Felicia Johnson wasn't supposed to be his last victim. She was supposed to be his first. But before we go further, I need to ask you something. Have you ever met someone online who gave you a bad feeling? Maybe something felt off, but you couldn't explain why. Drop your state or country in the comments below. Your gut instinct might actually save someone's life. This is the story of Felicia Johnson, a young woman who traveled to Houston for her birthday and never made it home. And this is why her killer is still hunting. Felicia Johnson was 24 years old. She lived in San Diego, California with her family. Her father, Kevin Johnson, was close with his daughter. They talked regularly. They trusted each other. Felicia was the kind of person who stayed in touch with the people she loved. In April 2022, Felicia made a decision. She wanted to celebrate her 24th birthday somewhere new. She also wanted to look for job opportunities, so she chose Houston, Texas. It was a fresh start, a new city, a chance to see what else was out there. On April 15th, Felicia checked into the Intercontinental Houston Medical Center Hotel. It was a nice place, clean, safe. She texted her family to let them know she'd arrived. Everything seemed fine. She was excited. This was supposed to be a good trip. That was the last normal day of her life. April 15th was also the last time her family heard from her directly. After that day, the messages stopped. The calls went unanswered. Something had gone terribly wrong. And in the early hours of April 16th, Felicia posted an advertisement on an escort website. She was looking for work. There's no judgment here. Many people do survival work to pay bills, to get by, to make ends meet. Felicia needed money, and she made a choice that thousands of people make every day. She had no way of knowing what was waiting for her. She had no way of knowing that just 2 hours after posting that ad, she would meet a man who had been searching the internet for answers to questions like how to be a serial killer and how to kill without getting caught. She had no way of knowing that the person who responded to her ad wasn't looking for an escort. He was looking for a victim, and within hours of meeting him, Felicia Johnson would be dead. His name was Chukwuebuka Nwobodo. He was 28 years old. And to anyone who saw him, he probably looked normal. Just another person living in Houston. But what was going on inside his mind was anything but normal. After Felicia posted her ad, Nwobodo contacted her. They made arrangements to meet, but here's where things get disturbing. Nwobodo didn't just give Felicia an address. He requested an Uber ride for her. He controlled where she was going. He controlled how she got there. Early in the morning on April 16th, an Uber driver arrived at Felicia's hotel. The driver had no idea what was about to happen. He picked up Felicia and drove her to an apartment complex on Windchase Boulevard. It was just a normal ride, just another passenger. When Felicia arrived at the apartment complex, Nwobodo was waiting for her. They met face to face for the first time. Then she got into his car. Now, he drove her away from the apartment complex to his actual residence. His home address was 14935 South Richmond Avenue. This is where investigators believe Felicia Johnson was murdered. What happened inside that apartment? We may never know all the details, but what we do know is horrifying. Police later searched Nwobodo's home and found blood. They tested it. The DNA was a very strong match to Felicia Johnson. She died in that apartment, and after she was dead, Nwobodo got rid of the evidence. Felicia's phone was found days later, thrown off the side of a road near Bear Creek Pioneers Park. It was covered in blood, her blood, the phone that she used to call her family, the phone that could have saved her life if she'd had the chance to use it, but she never got that chance. Back in San Diego, Felicia's family started to panic. She wasn't answering their calls. She wasn't responding to messages. Something was very wrong. Her father, Kevin Johnson, and the rest of her family acted fast. They used technology to track her phone's last known location. What they found broke their hearts. They found her phone, but they didn't find her. The phone was covered in blood, and Felicia was gone. At that moment, the family knew. Their daughter, their loved one, was likely dead, and someone had taken her from them. But what happened next reveals this wasn't a crime of passion. This wasn't an argument that went too far. This wasn't an accident. It was planned. It was methodical. And it was practice. Between April 20th and May 3rd, Chukwuebuka Nwobodo went shopping. But he wasn't buying groceries. He wasn't buying clothes. He was buying tools, a mechanical saw, a flashlight, a shovel, trash bags, gloves. Think about that list for a moment. Think about what those items are used for. A saw to cut, a shovel to dig, trash bags to carry, gloves to avoid leaving fingerprints. These weren't random purchases. These were tools for one specific purpose: dismemberment. Investigators believe Nwobodo used these items to cut apart Felicia Johnson's body. Then he hid her remains somewhere they wouldn't be found easily. But the shopping list wasn't the most disturbing part. The most disturbing part was what police found on his phone. When officers finally seized Nwobodo's phone, they went through his search history. What they found was absolutely chilling. Between April 20th and May 3rd, he searched for these exact phrases. What does bleach do to blood? How to be a serial killer? How to kill without getting caught? Can police check phone records of a missing person? Read those again. Let them sink in. He wasn't asking these questions out of curiosity. He wasn't researching for a book or a movie. He was looking for instructions. He was looking for tips. He was trying to learn how to get away with murder. And that search, how to be a serial killer, tells us everything we need to know. This wasn't about Felicia. This wasn't personal. Nwobodo wanted to become a serial killer. He wanted to kill multiple people and not get caught. Felicia Johnson wasn't supposed to be his only victim. She was supposed to be his first. He was practicing. Now here's the part that will make your blood boil. In May 2022, Houston police made contact with Chukwuebuka Nwobodo. They brought him in for questioning. They detained him. They took his phone. They asked him about Felicia Johnson, and then they let him go. At that time, police didn't have enough evidence to arrest him. They needed more proof. They needed lab results. They needed DNA confirmation. So they released him. And Nwobodo disappeared. He's been on the run ever since. Pause for a second. Think about this. This man walked free after being questioned about a missing woman. He had Googled how to be a serial killer and how to kill without getting caught. He bought a saw, a shovel, and trash bags, and he was released. He's still free today. So I want to ask you something. What do you think should happen when someone searches for how to be a serial killer on the internet? Should Google, or any tech company, report these searches to the police? Should there be a system that flags this kind of behavior? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Because right now, a man who wanted to become a serial killer is out there somewhere, and nobody knows where he is. The Houston Police Department Homicide Division took over the case. Detectives started pulling phone records. They traced every call, every text, every movement Felicia made on April 16th. The phone records told the story. They showed Felicia at her hotel. Then they showed her phone moving to the Windchase Boulevard apartment complex. Then to Nwobodo's home on South Richmond Avenue. Then the phone went dead near Bear Creek Pioneers Park. The trail led straight to Chukwuebuka Nwobodo. Detectives got a search warrant for his home. What they found inside was damning. Blood. Lots of it. They collected samples and sent them to the lab for DNA testing. The results came back with very strong support that the blood belonged to Felicia Johnson. She had been killed in that apartment. Then police searched Nwobodo's car. What they found was the arsenal of a killer: a handgun, a large kitchen knife, a shovel. These weren't items you carry around by accident. These were weapons. These were tools. This was a man prepared to kill and prepared to hide the evidence. Based on everything they found, investigators reached a horrible conclusion. Felicia Johnson was deceased, and her body had likely been dismembered. On June 9, 2022, the Harris County District Attorney's Office filed charges against Chukwuebuka Nwobodo. He was charged with murder and tampering with evidence, but there was one major problem. Nwobodo had vanished. He was gone. He knew the police were closing in, and he ran. The search for Felicia's body began. Texas EquiSearch, a volunteer organization that helps find missing people, joined the effort. Law enforcement searched fields, forests, and parks. Volunteers walked through woods and checked abandoned areas. Months went by. No body, no answers. Then a Texas Department of Transportation worker was doing his job in Sam Houston National Forest. He found something. Human remains, hidden in the woods. Police were called. The remains were carefully recovered and sent for DNA testing. The results confirmed what everyone feared. It was Felicia Johnson. Her father, Kevin Johnson, spoke to the media after hearing the news. His words were powerful. He said, "I feel blessed. That's my daughter popping back from the grave for her revenge and for her justice." Even in death, Felicia was fighting back. Her body was the final piece of evidence, the proof that she had been murdered, the proof that Chukwuebuka Nwobodo was a killer. Now her family could lay her to rest. Now they had answers. But they still didn't have justice, because Nwobodo was still out there. Chukwuebuka Nwobodo remains at large today. Right now, as you're watching this video, he was 28 years old when he killed Felicia Johnson. That was in 2022. He's older now. He could be anywhere. He could have changed his appearance. He could be living under a fake name. But one thing hasn't changed. He's dangerous. This isn't a man who killed in the heat of the moment. And this is a man who planned, who researched, who bought tools, who Googled how to be a serial killer. Crime Stoppers of Houston is offering a $5,000 reward for information that leads to his arrest. If you know anything, if you've seen him, if you have any information at all, call 713-222-8477. You can also call Houston Police directly at 713-308-3600. Here's what you need to understand. An aspiring serial killer is free right now. Felicia Johnson may not be his only victim, and she may not be his last. He researched how to kill. He practiced on Felicia, and now he's had years to learn from his mistakes, years to plan better, years to get smarter. If you see Chukwuebuka Nwobodo, do not approach him. Do not try to confront him. Do not try to be a hero. Call the police immediately. This man is a threat, and until he's caught, no one is truly safe. Felicia's death was not her fault. Let me say that again. What happened to Felicia Johnson was not her fault. But there are lessons here that could save lives. If you ever meet someone online for work, for dating, or for any reason, here's what you need to do. Share your live location with someone you trust. Use apps like Find My Friends or Life360. Let a family member or close friend see exactly where you are in real time. Set up a check-in system. Create a code word that means you're safe. Text that word at specific times. If your friend doesn't get the code word, they know something is wrong. Before you meet anyone, do a reverse image search on their photos. Check if their pictures show up somewhere else online. Look for red flags. Always share client details before you go. Send their name, phone number, address, and photo to someone you trust. Make sure someone knows exactly who you're meeting and where. When it comes to meeting safety, follow these rules. Meet in public places first if possible. Coffee shops, restaurants, anywhere with witnesses. Control your own transportation. Don't let someone else order a ride for you like Nwobodo did with Felicia. Drive yourself or arrange your own Uber. Try to meet during daylight hours when you can. Nighttime meetings are riskier, and most importantly, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Leave. Your safety is worth more than money or politeness. For families, here's what you can do. Set up tracking apps with your loved one's permission. Don't wait until there's an emergency. Keep communication open and judgment-free. If someone feels like they can't tell you where they're going or what they're doing, they won't ask for help when they need it. If something feels wrong, act immediately. Don't wait 24 hours to report someone missing. Felicia's family tracked her phone right away, and that quick action gave police crucial evidence. Now let's talk about bigger issues. Should companies like Google report searches like, "How to be a serial killer?" That's a question we need to ask. Should there be better protections for people doing escort work? Absolutely. Should police respond faster to missing persons cases? Yes. And here's something important. A Texas Department of Transportation worker found Felicia's remains. He was just doing his job, but he paid attention. He reported what he saw. And we all have a role to play in keeping each other safe. Felicia Johnson was 24 years old. She was a daughter. She had a father who loved her. She had dreams. She had a future ahead of her. Kevin Johnson lost his daughter in the worst way possible, but he hasn't given up. He's still fighting for her, still demanding justice, still making sure the world remembers her name. Felicia deserves justice. Her family deserves closure, and we deserve to know that this killer is off the streets. If this case affected you, hit that like button right now. It helps more people see this story, and the more people who see it, the better chance someone will recognize Chukwuebuka Nwobodo and report him. Subscribe to Homicide Black File because we don't let these cases fade into darkness. We keep fighting. We keep telling these stories. We keep demanding answers. And share this video. Post it on your social media. Send it to people you know. Someone somewhere knows where Nwobodo is. Remember, Crime Stoppers is offering $5,000 for information leading to his arrest. Call 713-222-8477. Felicia Johnson's voice was silenced, but through her evidence, through her father's love, and through our refusal to forget, she still speaks.